You know the feeling. You finally find that perfect item online. Toss it in your cart, hit pay, and boom, the transaction is confirmed. It honestly feels like magic, right? But have you ever actually stopped to think about the insane, invisible mechanics happening behind the scenes in those few crucial seconds?
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're totally demystifying digital transactions and diving straight into the realities of e-payments. We're going to break down exactly how online transactions work behind the scenes, step by step.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with what payment systems actually are, then compare traditional versus electronic payments. After that, we'll look at how payment gateways work, the different types of electronic payments out there, and finally, wrap up with the real risks of e-payments.
All right, let's dive right into part one. What are payment systems? The absolute baseline of commerce.
At its core, a payment system is really the lifeblood of any business. It's the entire setup used to reconcile financial transactions by transmitting monetary value. And we're not just talking about tech here. This whole ecosystem includes the financial institutions, the actual instruments, and, absolutely crucial, the government regulations and rules that make sure these exchanges are both legal and secure. Nowadays, these systems substitute physical cash with mechanisms that stimulate commerce and lower transaction costs, all while operating under strict regulatory oversight so we can actually trust them.
Moving on to part two. Traditional versus electronic payments. Going from closed systems to open platforms.
So what's the actual difference between a standard payment system and an electronic one? Well, an e-payment is specifically when you pay for goods or services over the internet or through a gateway using an electronic device, like your phone or laptop. The real game changer here is that you're entirely bypassing bank employees. You literally do not need a teller anymore. E-payments operate on a wide-open system platform, the internet, whereas traditional payments used to be stuck inside a pretty closed-off physical system.
You really notice the difference when you look at how the value actually circulates. Think about cash. It's incredibly cumbersome. A buyer literally has to go withdraw physical cash, hand it to a seller who then physically takes it to the bank to deposit it. E-payments completely digitize this whole ordeal. Instead of moving paper bills around, we're just instantaneously transmitting information.
And because of that, the level of human intervention completely changes. Traditional payments desperately rely on humans to settle the process. But e-payments? They utilize advanced networks like the internet and extranets to handle the entire transaction automatically. That's exactly what gives us the speed, simplicity, and massive global reach that modern commerce absolutely demands.
Okay, let's look at part three. How payment gateways work. I like to call this the invisible middleman. Literally every e-commerce platform needs one of these. A payment gateway is essentially a digital bridge connecting an online store to a payment provider. You can think of it as the exact digital equivalent of those physical card readers you swipe at a retail store. It acts as a trusted third party that securely grabs the highly sensitive payment data, withdraws the funds from the customer, and safely deposits them into the merchant's account.
So what does that journey actually look like? Well, step one. The split second you enter your credit card details, the gateway encrypts them to keep everything safe from fraud. Step two. It instantly routes that encrypted info to the issuing bank to ask for authorization. Step 3, it pings the merchant to let them know if the charge was approved or declined. And finally, step 4, the gateway actually settles the funds with the merchant once the bank clears it. And the crazy part? This entire four-step dance happens in the literal blink of an eye.
Now, merchants actually have a few different ways to set this up. They can use hosted gateways, where you get redirected away from the shop to pay. Or they might use self-hosted gateways, which give them total control over the look and feel, but means the merchant is fully on the hook for following strict government-mandated security standards. There are also API-hosted gateways and local bank integration gateways, which briefly bounce you over to your bank's website to finish the transaction.
Which brings us to part 4, types of electronic payments, or the e-payment ecosystem.
We use a massive variety of cash substitutes to interact with these gateways today. Of course, you've got your standard credit and debit cards, but we also see direct debits, where a bank is told to pull specific funds, and e-checks, which are exactly what they sound like, digital paper checks. Then there are smart cards loaded with funds on a microchip, cybercash stored right on your device, and mobile e-wallets. Oh, and let's not forget cryptocurrencies, which use blockchain tech to verify transactions without needing a traditional middleman at all. The whole ecosystem is just huge and constantly evolving.
All right, time for part 5, the risks of e-payments, the reality check. Check out this number, 30%. E-commerce fraud is currently growing at a staggering pace of 30% every single year. Yeah, digital payments give us unparalleled speed, unbelievable convenience, and lower costs, but security is a massive, massive concern. If a merchant uses a payment system that isn't locked down tight, things can go wrong very quickly.
We really need to understand these specific vulnerabilities. First off, there's the ever-present risk of data breaches, which can directly lead to identity theft. Secondly, we have to remember there's absolutely no true anonymity here. Our personal data sits in massive databases just to verify who we are. And third, there's our complete reliance on an active internet connection. If your connection drops, the digital magic instantly vanishes, and you literally cannot complete a transaction.
E-commerce gets bigger every single year, making online payments an absolute necessity for modern life. But I want to leave you with this one thought. In our relentless pursuit of ultimate digital convenience, are we ultimately trading away our absolute security and anonymity? It's the great trade-off of our modern economy. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I hope next time you click that Pay button, you see it in a completely new light. Keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next one.